Okay, let's start to prepare our space. We're going to have our yoga class. I'm going to set our timer for 30 minutes. Let's do that. There we go. We got our class in session. Oh, I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you for being here. We are doing this yoga practice, this chair yoga practice, and it has so many positive benefits to it. Positive benefits for our bodies. It's going to help us get our mobility back or keep our mobility. And it's going to help us calm our mind, kind of get back to that centered space. Okay. So sitting on your chair, sitting on the edge. So if I turn to the side, you can see that I'm not sitting against the chair, just sitting up straight. I can sit here like this, right? But what we want to do is we want to see a slight arch in the back. And to do this, you want to begin to rock forward on the pelvis. The abdomen starts to stick out just a little bit and have a slight arch in your back. And notice what happens to the shoulders as you do this. You inhale and you start to round the shoulders back. Open the heart. So the collarbones start, when I say open the heart, the collarbones start to spread apart. And the front of the chest opens, and this allows our lungs to fully be able to breathe in, to fill up completely. And with that, you'll take a deep breath. And you want the lower belly to be moving. So you want it to inhale. You want that belly to come out. Exhale. You're going to hug in, press the navel in toward the spine. Squeeze all the air out of the lungs. Inhale. And not only do you want the abdomen to kind of expand, you also want the ribs to feel as if they're widening and even up, because the lungs go all the way up here. And we want that to be filled too. You can place your hands on your knees, just on your lap, on your thighs. The neck is lengthened and lifted. The crown of the head is lifting up toward the sky. The spine feels long. Take in a deep inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Observe what's happening to the spine as you take these full yogic breaths. Inhale. As you exhale, you draw the navel in toward the spine, and you begin to lengthen the breath by constricting the back of the throat. Inhale. And exhale. Once again, I'm going to turn to the side as we begin to focus on, and you can stay where you're at in the chair. You don't have to turn to the side. I just want to be able to show you cat-cowing of the spine in this chair posture. And we do it naturally as we do this full yogic breath. Inhaling, the back arches even more. The lungs fill up. Exhaling, draw that navel in. Slight rounding of the spine. Inhale. Exhale. Going to begin to exaggerate this cat-cowing of the spine. Inhale, this is cow pose in chair. Take the gaze slightly up. Exhale, begin to take the gaze slightly down, rounding the spine. And take this with your own breath. Inhaling fully. Exhaling slow, deep breaths. Let's do this about 5 more times. Now, an option for anyone who wants to take this a little further. If this is your first practice, stay here. But if you would like to take this a little further, you would stand up off of the chair, keep the hands down, and inhale, opening the heart forward, exhaling, rounding the spine, and beginning to tuck the tailbone. Only do this if you have practiced this chair yoga more than once, and if you feel comfortable where you're at, and if you feel strong enough. Stay seated. For modifications, don't worry about, oh, I need to, your pitta, right? Your fire kicks in and you're like, oh, you want to be competitive and competitive with yourself, not really with anyone else. But let that go. That's the practice of yoga, is just letting that go, being here, being present, and you still get the full benefit, even whichever modification you choose. One more deep inhale, wherever you're at, and then exhale. We'll finish this cat-cowing of the spine. And then come to neutral spine. Finding your feet flat on the floor, still with a tall spine. Then having the hands down by your side, begin to inhale and let the arms float up just ever so slightly with the breath. So notice the breath. You expand here in the ribs. And you can send your arms out and just start to notice the muscles that starts to stretch as you lift the arms up. Inhaling, and each time you're letting your arms float up just a little bit more. Exhaling them back down. Hi, Kylan Parker. Welcome. Kylan Parker is the master of our sankalpa, so setting our intentions. We're inhaling our arms up just ever so slightly, a little bit more than last time, just being very mindful of your shoulders, seeing if you can keep them relaxed. I trust the divine timing of the universe. That alone could be a sankalpa in and of itself. I have boundless energy and an endless flow of creativity. Love it, love it, love it. Maybe your fingertips come all the way up over the shoulders, and maybe that's a bit much. One more of your full expression of this flying mountain posture, and release. Pay attention to your hips. Are your sits bones grounding into the chair? Are you able to keep your spine lengthened as if it's lengthening up and out of the pelvis? And we're going to take this just a little bit further. Inhaling the arms up. Exhaling the left arm down. Take your gaze down to your left arm, and as you do so, reach the right arm up. Always being mindful of what is changing and moving in your own body, and if it ever hurts, that means it's too far. We're just looking gently down at our lower fingertips, stretching our neck, breathing, and also stretching your right side rib cage. Full deep breath. Exhale. Lift your left arm up. Exhale. Your right arm floats down and your gaze comes down to your fingertips. As you exhale, press or draw your navel in toward your spine and engage your pelvic floor muscles. And then on your inhale, you release. Release and expand. And exhale, and draw in. Stretching into your left side ribs. And release. Yeah. And just notice the flow of the blood that comes back down into the hands as you lower them. That is freshly oxygenated blood. Yay. So we're bringing it back into our bodies to where before it was like kind of stagnant, deoxygenated blood. So let's stretch our hands, pressing your palm forward like, hey, give me a high five, a low five, right? But then reach forward with the opposite hand and stretch the fingers down. Feels great. Release and take that to the other side, like, hey, give me five. And then press down with the opposite hand. Breathe. And release. Chair pigeon. Pigeon pose, there are many variations for pigeon pose. We are going to, you can start by bringing your left ankle over the right ankle, right? So this is going to be the beginner, like the very, very beginner of our mobility chair yoga pigeon posture. So you keep this here, and then you begin to walk the hands forward, bringing the heart just slightly forward. And you start to notice any type of stretch in your left thigh, outer thigh, or left hip. And then for the next level, you would bring that ankle, placing the left ankle on top of the right knee. So that may be a bit much. And as you do this, you want to keep your toes pointed forward. So the toes are being drawn up toward the knee. A tall spine. And even this, you may start to feel a stretch in your left hip. Exhale, leaning forward. You may feel this in your IT band, your abductors, the thigh's outer muscles. And remember what I was saying, when we come into a posture that challenges us, we just breathe through it. So even if you don't do the posture itself, breathe as we are breathing. Breathe with us. And that's still doing yoga. Walking the hands back if you've leaned forward, and we're going to take this to the other side. So either crossing the ankle over the right ankle over the left ankle, and then leaning forward, or bringing that ankle up on top of the left knee. So either option works. And what's great about this, even if you're at work, you can still do this posture in whatever chair you're in. Just remembering to keep those toes, if your ankle is on top of the knee, keep the toes pointed forward with those toes and the energy of the toes drawing up toward the knee. Walking the hands forward just a bit, heart leans forward, the spine remains in a neutrally straight position. And walking hands back, uncrossing the leg. That's good. Good stuff. Chair eagle. This posture can be done with just the arms or both arms and legs. And if you know traditional eagle, you can also do this without the chair. Oni drag. Oh, that's Oni Drug, thank you for the follow again. Oh, I'm honored. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. And thank you for the follow. Here you go. For Oni Drog, thank you for the follow. Thank you, thank you. Bubble, bubble, bubble. All right. So our eagle, an option only to cross the left leg over the right. And you may have to adjust your right knee, or adjust the right ankle, I should say, over the right knee. So if the right knee comes in and it's like this, it's leaning, walk that lower foot so that it's underneath your knee, crossover. This is just an option. You can keep your feet flat on the floor. So whichever knee is on top, so we've got our left knee on top, we want our right arm to cross over. And remember, keep your spine like nice and tall. And you'll cross your left elbow underneath. And from here, for option 1, you hug. So you send your hands like you're giving yourself a hug. So it'd be the first stage in our eagle arms. The elbows, maybe they're slightly offset, maybe they're stacked, or maybe they're even further. Maybe you can reach around and massage like between the shoulder blades and the spine, those muscles right in there. Breathe. Okay, if your elbows are stacked or further from here, then you would bring your forearms up and cross your left forearm behind your right. Bring the palms to kind of touch, and then send those top fingertips down over the lower fingertips. These are eagle arms. If your elbows are either like out, like you haven't quite developed the flexibility and the openness to stack the elbows, that's okay. Keep them where you're at. From here, you can still do what we're about to do. Okay? So inhale, gently. So this is a very intense stretch, so very gently lift the elbows. If you want, you can cross that foot, so your left foot crosses behind the right shin, maybe, and maybe not. Maybe your feet are just flat on the floor. Strong, stable base. Exhale, lower the elbows toward the abdomen, tuck the chin. Breathe in. Inhale, arms come back to neutral. Exhale, take the elbows to the left, very subtly. It's not a big movement, just very small movement to the left. Inhale, exhale back to center. Inhale to the right. The elbows may only move like an inch or a few centimeters. And back to center and lower. Shake it out. So we've squeezed all the muscles in this area, getting fresh oxygen into our arms, into our legs. So uncross your legs if you have them crossed. Sitting up tall. Doing this on the other side. So this is the eagle in the chair. So either keeping your feet flat and strong and stable on the floor with the sits bones pressing into the chair and the spine tall. Or you can cross the right knee, the right leg over the left, and then walk your left foot in. Take the left arm across. The right elbow hooks under the left. Exhale. Hands come toward the shoulders, toward the upper arms. If you have a lot of tightness in your shoulders, say you work out a whole bunch and you have strong like really strong, a lot of strength and a lot of muscles developed in the upper body. This may be where your edge is. Just go to your personal edge and you are still getting a 100% benefit of this posture. So maybe you cross your right foot behind the left ankle, or maybe you don't. Just listen to your body. If your shoulders are stacked or further, go ahead and wrap the right forearm behind the left and palms come to touch. And then bend your left fingertips over the right. And breathe. Sit up tall. On your next exhale, let the elbows slightly float up. Not forcing, just allowing. Remembering to breathe. Feel strong in your chair. Exhale, let the elbows float down toward the abdomen. Tuck the chin. Have your ocean quality breath. Inhale the arms back to neutral and then twist to your right, just slightly. Breathe. Yeah. Know that you're doing amazing. You're doing fantastic work. Breathe back to center. My legs are even shaking. They're like, even here, it's like, oh, this is, sorry. Inhale and take it to the left. Breathe. Bring it back to center and release and shake that out. When we do this type of work, if your legs are crossed, uncross them. Know that you're not only helping your own mind and body, but you are giving this like positive energy out into the world, into what is called the universal consciousness. You know it exists. If you drive around and you drive past a certain person, you know, you can sense if they're kind of not in a good mood or not. It just, I don't know why or how, but it's that type of what we're tapping into, but here, and we're giving that positive energy out into the world, and it's making like an impact in a very powerful, positive way. So just notice the body, notice how you feel, and we have about 7 more minutes left in this class, so let's go ahead and do a warrior. On one on each side. So do warrior 2 on each side. Let's start with our right leg on the chair. The left leg is kind of just hanging out off the chair. And just see how this feels to send this leg out and back. Sorry, I'm gonna bring my foot back a little further just so you can see the foot. So the toes may point straight forward. You listen to your ankle, your hip, your knee. And those toes can go either straight out, so it kind of looks like a 90-degree angle, or you can start to angle those toes in toward the body. And have this, it doesn't really look like it on screen, but when I look at it down at my foot, I can definitely tell there's an angle there. Everybody has different ankle mobility. Mine is very limited, but yours may be a lot more, so you can maybe bring those toes in a little bit more. Everybody's different. With our arms, so we've warmed up our arms, we'll send our right arm forward, left arm back in our warrior 2. In our warrior 2 posture, our gaze is at our front middle finger. In Sanskrit, the gaze is called drishti. So our gaze, our drishti, drifts to our front middle finger and we breathe. So taking the breath into the lower abdomen, filling the lungs, and exhale. Maybe bring a smile. Maybe to the face, maybe just smiling on the inside. And if your shoulders feel like they're just reaching up, right? It's too much. See if you can relax them down. So with every exhale, relax even more. And release. Excellent, excellent work. That leg, if it didn't feel good back there, remember anytime if you feel pain, you can even just start with the leg kind of just here. So we're here in our warrior two, and you can start to get your range of motion back by placing that left leg wherever you need. And we'll just take this to the other side now. Right. So bringing your left hip onto the chair nice and strong. The right hip kind of just isn't, when you're sitting down, you really feel a lot more of the support coming into the left hip. And then you can bring, oh, hey, oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Nidra. If I'm not saying your name right, please let me know. Okay, so we're taking this to the other side. You can have your foot out. So I'm just going to bring my foot back in just a little bit more so you can see it. But this really maybe is a little bit much for me, but I'm just doing this so you can see the position of the foot, how the toes are kind of pointed forward, or they can be out a little more. So just whatever works best for you. I'm going to send my foot back out so my feet are kind of like they're on railroad tracks rather than the ankles being in one line. Bringing the left arm forward, right arm back. So notice when we do this, this allows us to open in our hips, and then we can maybe make small adjustments to that back straight leg. Gaze, your drishti comes to your left middle finger. I hope I said left arm forward, right arm back. That's what I meant if I didn't say it. I'm sorry. This even stretches into the muscle that runs down our neck into like our trap. This is the levator scapulae. It goes down. Ooh, I have a bump on my shoulder right here. I just felt it. Inhale. This is yogi awareness, right? You are all yogis doing this practice. Even if you are just breathing with us, you are a yogi. If you wanted to take this into your full regular warrior two without the chair, go for it. Breathe and release. And just notice you start to feel numbness in your arm. That's not a good thing. If you ever do start to feel that numbness or tingling, then you want to just kind of come out of it just a little bit more until that tingling sensation goes away. All right, and then we'll come to our kind of like winding it down. We have just a couple of minutes left in our practice. We're going to extend the right foot out, point and flex the toes, circle the ankle, so draw circles with that big toe. And circle the other way. And lower. And then we'll come up with the other. Point and flex the left toes. Remember, still sitting up tall, so we're not rounding in the spine. Just being very mindful of our movements and of our whole body. Circling those toes, the ankle, that ankle joint. So when we rotate, and if you need to leave your foot like rested on the floor, so if you leave your ankle rested on the floor, you can still point and flex your foot if lifting it isn't an option. But when we're doing these movements like this, it's getting that synovial fluid like in our joints moving again. And coming to stillness, so sitting tall, closing the eyes for just one deep inhale. When you are ready, exhale. Breathe normally and observe the body. Bringing hands to heart center. Thank you so much for your practice. You are an amazing yogi. The divine light and grace that is in me recognizes and is so grateful for the divine light and grace that is in you. Namaste. Hi, Jerry. Yes, I do. I read comments. Namaste, everyone. Namaste.